County 911.
Please, I'm at the laundromat in the corner of 3rd and Union. Please. That's
So, hey, can we...
Go! Evil is the word that I would say if you're going to allow us to walk out of here without knowing what really happened.
How can a babysitter kill newborn babies and take the lifeless body to McDonald's? This is one mystery that shocked investigators as well as individuals. This is Unsolved Files, a place where crime stories are being brought to your doorstep. What are you waiting for? Just hit the subscribe button for more fascinating and suspense-filled crime stories. Now, let's get back into this story and uncover this mystery. In an attempt to finish her weekly tasks, Heather Gardner visited a laundromat late on October 18, 2018. Alongside were Jessie, Heather's sister, her 2 sons, Jathan, her toddler, and Benson, her 2-month-old infant. While the 2 women were doing laundry, Jessie made an unexpected discovery. Benson's lips had become blue, and he felt bone cold. Terrified, Heather started CPR as her sister called 911 in a terrifying situation.
County 911.
Please, I'm at the laundromat in the corner of 3rd and Union. Please. There's another child in my arms. My sister's baby is dead. We just picked him up on the babysitter.
There's CPR on that baby.
We don't know how.
Okay, I need you to tip his head back.
He's freezing cold. Tip his head back, Heather. Tip his head back.
I need you to blow into his mouth.
Slow.
Nose.
Into his nose.
Laundromat.
We're at the laundromat. I don't know what to do. I can't talk any longer. Yes, we're here. Yes, but the baby is still not breathing. You guys have to catch it back. Okay, what am I doing this? Can we do chest compressions?
Yes, I need you to start. I need you to listen to me.
Yes,
Did you blow into his mouth 2 times?
Okay, I gotta go walk up to here. Yes, I am.
Blow into his mouth 2 times, plug his nose.
He's freezing cold already.
Okay, ma'am, I need you to take your hand and put it in the middle of his chest.
Okay.
Okay, and you're going to push on his chest.
Okay.
And count with me. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Apparently, the police show up and quickly take control of the situation while Heather carries out the 911 operator's directions. Benson was taken inside the ambulance for life-saving procedures as soon as it eventually arrived. Tragically, they were unable to help him, and he was formally pronounced dead. The first concern was if this was a case of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, or whether something much more unbelievable had happened. Desperate for an explanation, Heather and Jessie sobbed as they described the situation to the authorities. The policeman managed to obtain the name of the babysitter from Heather, despite the terror and misery she was experiencing.
What exactly happened?
We just picked him up from the babysitter. I took him out of there and he was cold.
Marissa Tietosrt?
Yeah.
The police officers were able to obtain Marissa Tietostrt's address and other details. Detective Jennifer Holtz arrived on the scene and began interviewing Heather and Jessie. The previously unseen footage was meticulously analyzed by a former licensed professional, a licensed professional counselor, and a licensed clinical psychologist. Jessie informed Detective Holtz of some regrettable news before the interview began. This might not seem like much at first, but it ended up being really crucial.
Sorry, I sent her a text too on Heather's phone and when this was all happening. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have. But I said, you killed my sister's baby.
What did she say?
She didn't say anything back. Sorry.
Can you tell that she read it?
I was just very
It's like a Facebook message or a text?
A text. It doesn't say she did. Sorry.
No, sorry.
I just was really angry and it was just like, I was on Heather's phone and I saw her name and I just couldn't say I'm sorry.
An officer from the police was dispatched to Marissa's building, even though they were unable to visit her flat. The interview then starts, and initially, all of Heather and Jessie's descriptions sound typical. Marissa had been babysitting Heather's kids when she had to go to work. They had been friends for a long time, but as Heather and Jessie talked about their conversations with Marissa that evening while they were picking up the kids, it was obvious that something was seriously wrong. There's no doubt that Marissa was acting strangely, and Detective Holtz soon realized that she would need to locate Marissa to learn the truth about Benson's death. Unfortunately, nobody anticipated how difficult this would turn out to be. Detective Holtz headed to Marissa's apartment, where she lived with Adam, her long-term partner and the father of her kids. When Detective Holtz arrived at the apartment, she didn't know what to anticipate because Jesse had texted Marissa about Benson's death. She brought Captain Graham and a few other policemen along as backup, just in case.
Marissa, we're not going away! Open the door!
The officers had to take severe action after it became clear that nobody would open the door.
Police department, arrest warrant!
What's the police? Anybody in here? Kids room.
Marissa had vanished from
hands,
sight,
anybody?
just as they had anticipated, but there was still hope. Nevertheless, Detective Holtz managed to contact Marissa's service provider and locate her phone at the Plaza, a nearby hotel. Within an hour, Holtz and Graham stood in front of Marissa's hotel door. It's time to separate Marissa and Adam for questioning to see if they can provide any information regarding Benson's whereabouts, now that the police have finally identified them.
Adam, stay here.
No, you guys are harassing the hell out of us. And she already got charged. We'll be at court. Why you gotta come here?
Well, because we need to talk to her about something new.
Something new?
Yep. Marissa, I need you to wake up. Can you get up so I can talk to you?
When Marissa was asked about Benson, she said that he was
I
fine,
was just watching him and you two was fine.
and you can see the upward inflection in her phrase at the conclusion. This query suggests that Marissa is unsure of what she's saying, rather than making a usual assertion.
Did you feed him or?
I fed him once and then he slept and, well, we went outside when they first got there a little bit, so. It was
You
nice
and
out.
the kids?
Yep.
Okay.
Throughout this initial remark, Marissa keeps stating "and then," which normally signals that something is missing from someone's account. Detectives delved deeper into parts of the story throughout the questioning, when a suspect kept utilizing expressions like, "and then," and "this happened."
And then he slept and then.
Meanwhile, considering the situation, Marissa's smile and chuckle during the interview seem strange. When a suspect shows no worry, the matter is obviously serious. This could be a clue that they are lying. They might be attempting to appear innocent by maintaining their composure, but in reality, their actions only raise questions about their character. Still, the detective told her Benson was no longer alive.
Why is he dead?
We were hoping that you could shed some light on that.
I don't know why.
And I need you to tell me what happened.
I don't know what happened.
Detective Holt stated that Marissa had previously been questioned about her possible childhood. Actually, this is the third time. Detective Holtz was called to Marissa's and her boyfriend Adam's house 2 months before Benson's death, because one of the children in Marissa's care had suffered serious head and facial injuries. Detective Holtz was determined to uncover the entire story, despite Marissa and Adam's claims that the youngster simply had an accident. Adam was referring to the fact that social services had taken custody of all 4 of his and Marissa's children, although he isn't going into details. He said he would have probably been seized by social services if they had known about the existence of their 5th child. When Marissa eventually came home,
Marissa? Yep.
Detective Holtz and the child services ladies hung out at the apartment for a while. The fact that Marissa did not include any of her personal feelings in her narrative of events raised an instant red flag for lying. The majority of those who were telling the truth would express their emotions during the occurrence. However, it is impossible for a guilty person to fake emotion. Even when it is totally wrong to remain neutral in a given situation, guilty people frequently choose to maintain a highly neutral emotional state.
Has anything like this come up with you before?
No.
As far as a child being injured?
No.
Notably, Marissa also chooses not to deny these earlier accusations outright.
Are you sure about that? Were you talked to about a year ago for a child that was injured that sustained a skull fracture?
Oh yeah, that was not me.
Although it should, in principle, be an outright denial, she just can't seem to get the words right, which will undoubtedly catch the attention of the detectives. Even when she expresses her love for children, this does not directly refute her accusations. In fact, it might be challenging for someone guilty to make a false denial because their body will naturally begin to exhibit physiological indications of worry. However, social services notified Marissa and her partner that their infant son would not be allowed to live with them while there was an ongoing child investigation against her. Adam struggled to process the news.
So hey, can we...
Go! Go!
Adam, stop! Adam, stop! Can't leave with the child.
Adam, stop!
With the child.
Adam, stop!
You're stopping and you're scaring the baby.
You're scaring my baby. Get the out of my house!
I will go. Can that work?
It seems that Marissa and Adam were responding to the removal of their son from their house in somewhat different ways. Of course, Adam has legitimate feelings, because many people would feel outraged in this circumstance as well. However, he doesn't seem to see that his outburst was plainly disturbing the baby. On the other hand, Marissa appears to be in complete control of their circumstances. This was highly odd because most parents, especially those who didn't do anything wrong, would be very distraught about having their child taken away. This could be an act from her, as she believes that she needs to come across this at ease, since if she acts erratic like Adam, it will only seem as though she did when she was watching the child. Detective Holtz's relentlessness during her interrogation of Marissa was evident, since she was still carrying these memories.
I don't know what happened. I promise.
I understand that things get frustrating.
Marissa probably said, "I promise you that," in an attempt to support her claims. A dishonest person will go to great lengths to convince you of their tale, but an honest person won't need to visit such websites. Similarly, the conversation switched to Jason, whom Marissa also babysits.
And what is normal?
Whiny. As soon as you pick him up, he whines and stuff.
Adam, using such insulting phrases to describe Heather's children, was worrisome. It is particularly odd to call a 2-month-old baby cranky because it is typical for a baby that age to cry a lot. It's also conceivable that the excessive criticism of the kids is an ineffective attempt to keep Marissa safe. Marissa tries to explain why she and Adam ran to the hotel back in the hallway. It is so obvious that Marissa's explanation didn't add up, but what exactly was she hiding? Marissa is probably well aware that, given her previous child investigation, she appears very suspicious right now. It's difficult to trust her, even if Benson's death was only a tragic accident, given her past interactions with children. Could this be the reason she and Adam ran to the hotel?
I'm serious. Now cut the crap, Marissa. This is the third time we've had a discussion with you about a child, an infant in your care, and now one is dead. One is dead.
Marissa continued to sniff and scrunch up her face like she was crying, but no tears seemed to be falling. She was probably attempting to convey that she was distraught, but because she is a bad actress, it came across as incredibly fake.
He was fine.
Babies don't just die.
I would not kill a baby. No, because I didn't kill him.
Was it an
I'm
accident?
not to.
Did you leave him alone?
What?
We know accidents happen.
The investigators were aware that most suspects, including Marissa, were more at ease confessing to an accident than to purposeful injury. She was drawn to the scenario, maybe because she believed she would not encounter as many problems. There are still some unanswered questions in Marissa's story, and certainly Holtz and Graham are going to find out.
When did you realize that he was dead?
I don't know.
Did he die in the back?
Marissa knew a lot more than she was revealing, even though there's a good likelihood that this is the whole story.
How did you find him? I was like just on his belly. Where was his face?
In the, on like this.
Face down. Did you? I'm just trying to. So, if this is his face and this is his back, and you put him like this, and you didn't find his head turned anyway. It was just straight down.
I think it was.
Was there anything coming out of his mouth? Or
No.
And he felt cold then, and that was before Adam got home.
Who picked him up out of the back and play and put him into the car? Or?
I picked him up and put him in there.
Okay.
Absolutely normal to me.
One concerning thing was that Marissa couldn't seem to recall exactly where Benson's head was when she first saw him. It is something she ought to be able to recall. It would set off alarm bells and probably stick in her memory if she stepped in and the baby's head was facing down into the bed. How on earth can you place a baby's head on the bed without checking up on him? That's a lie.
You went to McDonald's?
No, I brought him back.
Or did you put clothes on him? Did you put a snowsuit on?
I put a snowsuit and hat on.
And Adam didn't notice that he was dead?
He probably just thought he was sleeping.
Did you check for a pulse? Did you see if he was breathing? Or did you just feel his skin was cold?
He just wasn't making any noise.
What did you think was going to happen when Heather came to pick him up?
I don't know,
Did you think she wasn't going to notice, or?
oh yeah,
That she was or wasn't going to notice.
she was gonna notice.
Did you try to do anything to revive her? Try to do CPR?
No, I don't even know how to do that.
Help me understand, discovered there, that why didn't you call police?
Because I was scared and my boyfriend wasn't there. And I didn't want my baby taken.
Marissa has by now expressed her fear on multiple occasions, but she shows little regard for Benson or his mother's current state of mind. Meanwhile, Marissa seemed incredibly self-centered, as if the baby's death meant just what it meant for her personally.
We do have an arrest warrant for you based on your other child. So we're going to be taking you into custody.
Can I smoke a cigarette?
Sure.
Thank you.
We're
When am I gonna get out?
Marissa appears to be providing investigators with the truth, but there's a big issue. Her account differs greatly from Adams's. Marissa claims that Adam was unaware that Benson had passed away before he had even arrived home. According to Adam, not only did he pick Benson up and load him into the car, but Benson was also purportedly crying and uncomfortable the entire time. It's clear that one of them was lying, and the police will have to determine which one it is.
Come on now.
I swear to God, I did not know this.
Yes.
No, I swear I didn't.
So,
I swear I didn't know.
But Adam
Where's this
was
phone?
astonished and broke down in tears when the police told him Benson had passed away because, as far as he was concerned, he had never heard about it. Adams went to McDonald's for dinner that night because he believed Benson had been sleeping the entire time. However, he was unaware that they had taken the corpse. They took the lifeless body of a baby to McDonald's? How did they not know about it? There are two possible interpretations of this scenario. Either he is lying about being the one who freed Benson from the pack so that Marissa wouldn't get in trouble, or he is telling the truth about a part of what happened. Let's just say he did get Benson out of the pack and play, but he knew the child was dead.
I mean, we see babies that it's kind of a bedding issue, that they suffocate accidentally. I've seen children that were given too much medication because they were too fussy, too whiny, and so the caregiver was trying to get them to sleep or,
Meanwhile, Officer Kolb was coming up with more plausible theories about Benson's possible demise. He realized that portraying Marissa as a heartless murderer could drive Adams to become defensive and stop talking, so he took care not to do that. Adam might be more receptive to providing information that could aid in the investigation, though, if he could plant a doubt in Adam's mind that it might have been an unfortunate accident.
Remember, I get him out of the bedroom, or did you, or when we went to McDonald's? I don't know.
No, I did.
She did. I mean, I just don't remember.
Adam's statement of "I don't remember" is also a selective memory assertion, which occasionally has validity or may indicate suspected dishonesty. Deductive reasoning may have been employed by Adam to determine that Marissa was being investigated for a Benson-related matter. He probably had no idea what Marissa was being accused of, but it was obviously something to do with her caring for other kids. So for the time being, he chose to tell a falsehood in the hopes of saving her from more difficulty. But if he finds out what she's been keeping from him, he might be less inclined to keep her safe. What do you think Marissa was hiding from Adams?
So Adam admitted to out there while we were talking in here is that while you were out hunting,
She already knew?
likely suffocated, and that
Did she tell me?
of course she's probably freaking about that. And even when you came home and went to McDonald's, she's saying she knowingly put and into the car, leading you to believe he's alive and well, and he was dead all that time. And do you understand? We're not here to argue with you, fight with you, or nothing. We want what's best for the kids.
I understand.
And I think you do too.
I do.
And I even think Marissa does.
She does.
But
I mean,
she has a poor way of doing it, I guess.
it's not- I mean, you can ask anybody that we live around. I mean, everybody gets in a mood where they don't want to be bothered or whatever. But normally when that happens, I mean, she'll tell me, and then I'll take care of her, and she can go take a shower, and do what she's got to do. That's why every time this happens, no. That's what I told her. I didn't want her watching any kids.
Marissa consented to accompany Detective Holtz back to Marissa's apartment to show how she discovered Benson, while Adam waited at the hotel to deal with CPS. Detective Holtz might be able to figure out if Benson's death was due to a car accident, SIDS, or something far more sinister, if she could see clearly how he was positioned.
So I put him in here, and put the blue blanket on.
So when we were at the hotel, you were talking about like his face was to the side a little bit?
Yep.
Can you show me exactly how his head was? I know his body probably isn't
It's not gonna.
Right, it's completely anatomically correct, but if you could just show like how his face was. I realized that his body was flat, and it wouldn't turn up like that, but was it to that side specifically? So to his right?
So, yeah.
Marissa has been grinning and giggling the entire demonstration, but she's probably still nervous. Her hands appear to be nearly clenched into fists, suggesting that she is experiencing tension. Reenacting their final moments with the infant would probably be tough and emotionally taxing for most caretakers, who would be traumatized if a baby died in their care. Marissa, on the other hand, doesn't seem to be affected at all. However, this picture of her clenched hands might reveal some underlying tension.
Just the receiving blanket and then his blanket.
So the receiving blanket was already folded up and laid down before you came in here?
Because I picked him up and he was really cold.
How did you pick him up?
I just went like this.
Okay. And what did he look like?
He was just cold.
So it surprised you to know that your baby monitor is unplugged?
Is it?
Yeah.
I might have unplugged it too. Because you have to charge these. But I did have it on and everything.
Why would you unplug the camera?
What?
The camera.
Because, I stopped using it. When I stopped using it, I just unplug it. I did have it on and everything.
Are you sure?
When you're done
I'm sure.
using it, you just turn it off.
I promised on everything. I had it on.
Marissa was taken into custody after gathering all the necessary information at the residence, where she was held for the rest of the evening. Marissa appeared to be providing detectives with all the information she knew regarding Benson's death. But when the autopsy revealed startling information, Detective Holtz and Captain Graham decided to interrogate Marissa one more time. For the first time during the interrogation,
I see it with you in person. I see it with the baby that you're carrying. And I'm sure you had a bond with Benson because he's been watching you for quite a while.
I did not kill him. I could never kill anyone in my life.
Marissa appeared emotional and said the word kill. It seemed that the detective's comments regarding Marissa's passion for children and potential bond with Benson were what sent her off. Marissa appeared to avoid using the word kill earlier in the interrogation, preferring to pretend that she did nothing. Sometimes, dishonest people will employ these vague remarks because they provide them the freedom to avoid having to give further details. An innocent person is more likely to be honest and use the appropriate terminology because they want it to be obvious what they are refusing. If suspects believe the investigator genuinely cares about them and their circumstances, they can be more inclined to confess. Both Graham and Holtz are doing a fantastic job of applying the reading technique, showing empathy, and connecting with Marissa. The appearance of impartiality by the investigators fosters an environment where the suspect is more willing to provide information. Detective Holtz is putting more pressure on Marissa to confess by drawing nearer to her. Marissa sits in utter silence for over 2 minutes after Detective Holtz makes this fervent emotional plea, and then she starts talking a little. Marissa was probably trying to think of something to say during this lengthy silence. Should she continue to claim that she is ignorant? Is it okay for her to acknowledge the truth, or anything in between? She might be mentally assessing the advantages and disadvantages of each choice. Most people are slightly concerned with what other people think of them. Thus, Marissa would be more inclined to reveal the truth if she heard the investigator mention that you would be viewed as a monster.
Yeah, evil. Evil is the word that I would say if you're going to allow us to walk out of here without knowing what really happened.
It may be a clue that someone is lying when they say they have memory problems and cannot recall a piece of significant information. The fact that Marissa claims she can't remember if Benson passed away immediately after she roughed him up raises serious suspicions because most individuals would remember such a momentous occasion. Although Marissa's explanation remained ambiguous, Graham's standing up is significant in this instance because it forces Marissa to provide evidence of her actions. Marissa had to clarify that she didn't toss Benson from such a large distance, but rather, She did throw him when Graham dramatically acted out the throw from a very long distance. But if it was only one throw, then why did the baby have many injuries on his head? Marissa acknowledges that she threw Benson into the pack and play and then rearranged his body, but she doesn't seem to be sorry about what she did to him. According to Marissa, she threw Benson once and hit his head at the corner of the pack and play. The baby cried out for a couple of minutes, but Marissa did nothing about it. She claimed to be frustrated and shocked at what she did to the baby. How can you forcefully throw a baby down because of frustration? Immediately after the throw, the baby stopped breathing. He was dead. Marissa laughed and denied ever attempting to resuscitate Benson, despite her claims to the contrary. Given that she has already admitted and probably knows that there will be serious repercussions for her actions, this contradiction in her account suggests that she may be acting as though she didn't try to save Benson's life to avoid appearing like a monster. Despite her tears following the confession, Marissa might have been crying because she knew what would happen as a result of her actions, not because of what she had done. Meanwhile, she probably didn't call 911 out of selfishness. She might have believed that hiding the crime from everyone, including her partner, was the best course of action since she was afraid of getting caught. Marissa requested a lesser bond, demonstrating once more that she was prioritizing herself. She also seemed shocked to learn that she would be prosecuted for the offense. It was almost as if she thought they would just let her go if she apologized. Marissa tried to shift the blame for the crime from herself to Heather, but she was unable to recognize how terrible it was. Marissa started forming connections with a range of friends while she was in jail awaiting trial. She offered these pen pals money in exchange for their love, physical intimacy, and the ability to move in together after prison. Detective Holtz's report also mentioned that Marissa was skilled at deceiving others, which allowed her to manage all of these relationships, while also tricking Adam into thinking she wasn't cheating on him, which allowed him to give her money. Marissa kept herself busy while inside by pleading with the judge to reduce her bail. Marissa Tietosrt and I want a bond reduction cause. This is crazy that don't get half signature bond and lowered like really I'm not a monster or whatever. I love kids and I'm a mom of 5 kids. Plus I'm pregnant now with my 6th kid, Marissa wrote in a letter to the judge. That's correct. Even though the majority of her children were taken away from her care, she tries to portray herself as a successful and loving mother to her children, failing to recognize the gravity of her crime against Benson. Detective Holtz claims that Marissa thought she would receive a low sentence for Benson's murder because she and her lawyer intended to argue that Marissa wasn't guilty because of long-term substance abuse-related brain damage. Sadly, Marissa's hopes were dashed when she learned that Benson had died and that she was sentenced to 37 years for his death and an additional 3 years for injuring the child, who had allegedly fallen off her couch 2 months before Benson's death. What are your thoughts about this pregnant babysitter? She is indeed a monster, but let us know in the comments section below. We would love to read your comments. Have you heard of the story of the mysterious hijacker? Check out our previous video, The Mystery of D.B. Cooper.